Well, one game is in the books, and it's same old Browns. Some way, somehow, they will always find new ways or recycle ways of losing games. And right now, it is the kicking situation. We will get into that. Ohio State, the Guardians are still scratching and clawing for a playoff spot. They lost last night, but trying to win the series tonight against a team that's right in the thick of things as well, the Kansas City Royals. We will talk about all of that and more. Probably touch on a little high school update. I have a few notes there in my head. I don't have my notebook with me, but I've just been writing notes all week long and any free time that I get because I want to be prepared, just like I know Peter and his crew is always prepared. So make sure you guys check out ChagrinValleyConference.com, CVC TV. They will, Peter, if you can text what game of the week you guys have this week. I think you guys had a vote this week. We will touch on that later as well. But this is the Voice of the Land, as we are partnered with LPD Productions, brought to you by Greeny Sports Cards. We want to thank Greeny Sports Cards very much for partnering with us. They are the largest creator of these sports card shows in Northeast Ohio. They have 5 locations. They're still growing. And I know that there is another big time show coming up at the Woodside Event Center in Broadview Heights coming up on September 20th. I know our friends over at the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast on the Inside Edge Network, and we'll let Ryan talk about his new adventure as well here in just a second. But the those guys will be out there live. We're kind of working through that. I,
Yeah.
yard, trust me, Ryan, if you ever saw my yard when it first started to like right now and like the project we need to undertake,
I get it. It's
but
not no easy task usually. So
no, no. But we'll work through all that. We'll see if we can get Voice of Land out there as well. But a lot of great people will be out there. GreenySportsCards.com is
yep.
always where you can get all the information on those guys. Before we do jump into all of the sports, I think it's only right, especially on the 24th anniversary of 9/11, to take a moment of silence, a moment of prayer here on the show. It's not something we always do, but it's something that it's sports is supposed to be the escape, but real life needs to be acknowledged. And a moment of silence, a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk,
Yeah.
his family, his wife, his two kids, and everybody that knew him, plus those affected by the school shooting in Colorado yesterday. And then, of course, everybody that's still on this day every single year has memories of family members that they lost, first responders, people in the World Trade Center, Pentagon, and of course on Flight 94. And it went down in Pennsylvania. I think it's
93.
only what
It was
92,
93. 93.
93. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But all those people that lost their lives and family members that have to go through those memories every single year on 9/11. Let's take just a quick moment, just self-reflection, and send good thoughts out to those people affected.
Yeah.
I think that was only right to do that. I always say on the show, Rye, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. I've told you why that is.
Yeah.
I've said many times on here, that's what my family used to say to me when I took losses with my teams harder than they expected me to or they ever saw before. And it's because sports is what my passion is. And if you're passionate about something, don't let people tell you like it's just a thing. It's just that. It's just art.
Right.
It's just a play. It's just mathematics. It's just a book, or some sort of creative writing element. I could go on and on and on, but that still comes with the understanding that things are bigger. There's bigger things in life that matter, and life will hit you like a ton of bricks at times, and sometimes it's stuff that you can't understand, never saw coming. But I would love it if we could all come back together and not be so divided, because it doesn't matter what politics you're into, what sports teams you're into, all of that. We can disagree all we want. That was if you believe in a higher power, God or whatever it might be, Like that's what they put us on this earth to be and to do with each other. And we've kind of taken the opposite road, and I just want to make sure we try to course correct here, and one step at a time, we need to come back together because things matter more than just who's on what side of the aisle.
Yeah, I agree.
So apologies to start so seriously, but again, it's
necessary. I think so.
It's necessary. Yeah. So let us do move on into the sports world, as again, that is our escape, and there's plenty of stuff to talk about. Ryan, I will give you the floor though, because you have a new venture.
Oh yeah,
the Inside Edge Network that you and with Peter and Double A and all those guys kind of getting going. We're still kind of working through where VTL goes and what we can do to help you guys out, help that network out. But what do you have going on in your world?
Yeah. First off, I just want to say thank you to Inside Edge Network, Peter, Double A, LVP Productions, everyone. Just really grateful. Through them, I was able to start my own fantasy football podcast with one of my very good friends, David Cahoon, called The Commissioner's Couch. We'll be on weekly, every week, Wednesday at 9, and live, hopefully live every week. Just so you can get before the Thursday night games, like tonight there'll be a game, so we want to get the fantasy advice out to you. A lot of fun. It seems like a lot of people seem like it'd be are interested. This episode yesterday was pretty nice. I was really grateful for the turnout. So I'm just very grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully I do everyone proud. Also, part of Inside Edge Network, I'm part of their Cleveland Browns pregame show every Sunday, I guess just the hour before every game. Usually it'll be Sunday at noon. But myself and Chad Bryan will be leading that, and I'm really excited to do that as well. We had our first one this week, and I think it went really well. So still continue to do VTL with Kevin. Really, really grateful to be here and excited to hopefully we'll see there's some things behind the scenes we have to go through, but hopefully we can get over to the Inside Edge soon too. So
absolutely. We'll work through all of that, but I love how this show has kind of been a beacon for expansion into this world.
I'm so grateful.
If you look at it, just go back to the start of this, where it was myself and Nick Paulus. I mean, we're both at ESPN Cleveland. He's now the main producer for The Next Level. He's he's helping out hosting Buckeye stuff. He'll fill in and host at times, all over the place. And like this show kind of helped be a beacon for that, and kind of work through some of those skills to help that advancement. And then Jay comes on, APJ, and now he's doing the stuff with Carlos Berga, and a little while after you come on, Ryan, I mean, you found your niche, you found your lane. You were so nervous the first time, and trust me, that's the same way. That's the same way everybody is. The first time, it's the way I was. It's the way everybody is. But now you have what you're into, the fantasy football, and you're doing the Browns pregame stuff for a new network that is, I mean, off the ground running. And I like not just walking, but off the ground running, and want to, of course, support Inside Edge Network as best as we can. So congrats to everything for you and for everybody over there.
Thank you. I'm still here, still with VTL. This is, I mean, I'm very, like I said, very grateful for this opportunity as well. And I'm, not taking it lightly. So
yeah, and I appreciate that as well. So let's start kind of out of order a little bit, but just because it's a good tie-in. We kind of said that we would do just a little bit of fantasy football advice here. Now that you're doing like a whole show,
sure.
My head went to like each week, at least just like a couple minutes, like the biggest piece of advice you have going into each week, or like as the season kind of transitions and you see players developing, other ones not having as much success. What is that big thing that people should know that are playing fantasy football? What going into week 2 is like that big thing that's right at the forefront of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, the number one way to win fantasy is through waivers in general. Yeah, you draft well, but I mean, injuries happen. Like this week, I'm in like 15 leagues. It's crazy. But I had a lot of shares of George Kittle, and George Kittle is now on the IR. So you got to look at, who is getting, first off, matchups help. I really, really loved Harold Fanta this week. Actually, I know I'm biased, but he had 9 targets. He played really well. So I claimed him on every single league that I had Kittle, and I'll use him as a handcuff, and hopefully he does well. So just always watching the waiver wire. Tyreek Hill came from the waiver wire last year. Jordan Mason, who was a top 5 back and played really, really good this week with Minnesota, he's a waiver wire pick. So just because your team may not be the best, you might not have the best starting lineup, save Fab and always watch that waiver wire.
And and not to dip into what you're doing, but
right.
My big thing for someone that doesn't know as anywhere near as much as a lot of people do about fantasy football, and I got lucky to win one time in a league.
Yes.
Usually towards the bottom. Big thing for me is that I learned is not panicking after week 1.
Yeah, for sure.
If in one of my leagues I kind of got blown out, but I'm not upset about it. I'm not frustrated or panicking. I got to change everything in the lineup, because I know that there's guys in my lineup that didn't produce the way I feel like they're going to, and a lot of averages say that they're going to. So I always give it a week or two and kind of see how things develop, and finally pinpoint where you need to get the most help in your lineup. And I think that's always a big thing. This is probably the only time I give fantasy football advice.
Nice, dude. Yeah, it was good. If you're going off week 1, AJ Brown had 1 catch for 7 yards. AJ Brown is a top 5-10 receiver in the, so if with that case, you drop him and pick up, Zay Flowers, who had it was a really good game, 141 yards, but, it's not the player AJ Brown is. So, sometimes it takes offenses or players in general, a few weeks to, get into groove until they're in full fantasy form. And maybe just the scheme wasn't to his benefit just because of the matchup. So you got to watch that as well. So,
and that all goes back to the big conversation we have every time in the summer with the Browns going through training camp and everything. How do you use your starters? And that's
right.
That, there's different methods throughout the entire league. I don't think anybody has that down to a science yet. And then they keep talking about adding another game and having less preseason. So, I think as soon as these teams feel like they probably get a grasp of this 17 game structure and 3 preseason games, that's when they're going to change it to, 18 games and all that kind of stuff. And
it's inevitable. I think they're going to do it. They want, it's the most money they can get out of it. They're going to squeeze it for all that it's worth. So,
yeah. And some guys, they, in certain preseasons, they get what they need to get ready for the season. And other times they don't. And just kind of how they get started. But at some point, the cream does rise to the top, and those guys start to perform the way you need them to. So talking Browns and losing 17-16 to the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. The big topic coming out of that is, of course, Andre Schmidt, the kicker, missing a PAT, missing a field goal. I think that's the big thing to look at with the Browns directly before we look at Browns Ravens. Your thoughts on them keeping him, not bringing in competition, and just pushing confidence in the media and behind the scenes to him instead of, bringing competition.
Yeah. I don't know the guy. I've never seen him play. I've seen him play 1 game and he missed 2 out of 3 or 4 kicks. I personally really don't have confidence in him because I don't know what we got. Nonetheless, he is a Cleveland Brown. He is our kicker. We got rid of a guy on a guaranteed contract for him. And the one thing, I saw all over the media, nobody went to go check on him other than Shedeur, which was the only headline. The only time you saw Shedeur all week. Is that the best way to go about it when, he's already in his head? It's his first NFL game, not even his, special teams goes talk to him. I don't know. That doesn't seem like, it's the best strategy if you're going to try to be, hey man, you got it. Nobody went to talk to him except for a 4-string quarterback. That being said, who are you going to pick up? Jake Moody, who, Kyle Shanahan said he pretty much laughed out the door. There's nobody out there right now. We're not going to trade for a kicker. It wouldn't put it past me for Andrew Berry to sign someone like Justin Tucker, even though he's suspended. But I don't want any part of the mess of that. So, we're just going to go into week 2. Hopefully he makes his kicks. Other than that, he knows he lost us the game. Sure, there were some other key factors, but he missed 4 really easy points and we lost by 1. The math is not hard. So,
yeah, the drops don't help.
Yeah.
But, And yeah, that would have made the offense probably look a little bit better. But I mean, you did what you were supposed to do to win that game against a team that's is expected to score a crap ton of points all season long. And yes, the Browns continue to have their number. Jim Schwartz defensively has their number. You give up that first drive touchdown. I know Jim Schwartz talked about how upset he was about that, but I mean, those things are scripted. We've seen the Browns in their history, especially the year Freddie Kitchens was here. Man, oh man, did every game start like a bat out of hell and scoring a touchdown like almost on every single drive.
Remember that Tennessee game where we drove down in like 3-4 plays, scored? We're going to dominate this game. We lost 30-something to 7. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So it is about in-game adjustments, halftime adjustments, and they did that. The defense did that, and they kept. I think Chase and Higgins were held combined under 60 yards receiving, and like that's a credit to Denzel Ward. That's Greg Newsome, but that's also the front. And you don't maybe see the stats in the book with Mason Graham. But I mean, every time they did a replay of a sack, especially those back-to-back sacks,
right,
I'm seeing Mason Graham put guys on skates and getting that push. That's why people said Mason Graham was going to help Myles Garrett.
Yep.
And not just taking up double teams and stuff like that, but just getting that push in the pocket, so then a quarterback starts to second guess what they see and all of that, and that gives Myles another type of lane if he's being cut off one way to come back and get the quarterback. Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright are going to thrive in that as well. So at the end of the year, if Mason Graham doesn't have a lot of sacks and middle of the road on the team and tackles and stuff like that, people are going to say he's not worth the fifth overall pick. And
those people don't know ball.
Yeah, to a certain extent, that like, if you want to look at fifth, like, okay, maybe it was like 10th or something, like he had that. But that's why Ryan, like, I love stats, I love numbers, but I can't just go to that when analyzing everything. You know what I saw? My eye test, a guy pushed the ball right twice and didn't make a correction from one time to the next when they were almost identical distance kicks.
Yeah.
I saw Mason Graham pushing guys everywhere. I saw Carson Schwessinger all over the place. Denzel Ward in Higgins and Chase's bag. Like, and I saw good things on offense without a run game. You should have won that game because you couldn't. You by making kicks, you would have won that game, and that was the biggest frustration. But like you said, there's just nobody out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think the run game is a problem. I mean, I think Samson had 29 yards, was the leading rusher in this game, which is just absurd, especially for 12 carries. That's unheard of. Yeah, he had 8 for 8 catches for 64 yards. He was great out of the backfield, but I mean, I'm really looking for Judkins to get in there as soon as possible. I mean, rumors are saying that might be practicing this week. I don't know, but he was meeting with the NFL yesterday in New York City. He wasn't going to practice, then he was. So still up in the air. I don't know if anything's came about today. I haven't heard anything, but hopefully we get out here soon. So
full participant in practice today.
Oh, I totally missed that. I've been busy all day. I'm fixing my car. So
I've been busy all day too. It just so happens like that just like collide with my
right.
But so he was a full participant.
Awesome.
Had to meet. I don't know if they do decide to activate him for this weekend. Does then the NFL finally say like they've known like what they're going to do with him discipline wise, and then they come out and they're like waiting for that moment. Oh, he's activated, suspended like 4 more games or something like that, and then letting him come back to. First of all, having him go to New York, and I don't think that this was Judkins' idea. This is just probably the NFL setting this meeting up because they work the way that they want to. But having him go there on a Wednesday, on an install day, like when you know what every team that plays on Sunday is doing at practice that day, like, I don't know. There's just, I don't condone. I absolutely hate what he was accused of, but the courts took the case away, and all I can do is I know that the NFL thinks that they are judge, jury, and executioner, and they think that they are a higher power than the Supreme Court, and I don't know who can do it, but they need a reality check.
Yeah. Yeah, my only question is if they, if he does end up getting a suspension, say they do push it right when they say they're going to play him, will these games, if he missed game one, say he misses game two, are those going to be time served, or is it going to be in addition to those, So, I mean, my number one thing is he's out there as soon as possible. I mean, he's eligible to play. We'll see if they activate him, but that running game is a problem, and we have the solution. We just need to get him on the field. So.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that you have to ask that question about, will games he misses be part of time served or not? Right. Like that tells you the problem with the NFL and how they go about this and who they think they are in these kind of cases. So let's flush, just like the team had to do. Let's flush the Bengals game. But yes, you are 0-1, and this week you got the Ravens, and you have to go to Baltimore, and you got Jerry Jeudy saying that there's no challenges with their back seven, or at least their defensive backs. You got Grant Delpit answering a question on if it's difficult to bring down Derrick Henry, and he said, not difficult.
Respectfully, these guys are dumb. Oh my gosh. Or just really naive. I mean, the secondary, Kyle Hamilton is an all-pro already. Malachi Starks might be defensive rookie of the year. He looks phenomenal, the rookie safety out of Georgia. Derrick Henry, I respectfully, you said Greg Newsome said that?
No, sorry, Grant Delpit.
Great. Okay. A little different. Okay. If Greg Newsome said that, I would expect Greg Newsome to say that. I don't know about Delpit, but Derrick Henry is one of the best in the league. He had 169 yards and 18 carries last week with 2 touchdowns, late fumble. But that game was one of the best games I've ever seen. Did you watch that live? The Bills versus Ravens?
A good deal of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. That last 4 minutes and 2 minutes was insane.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is going to be a problem. Lamar Jackson is going to be a problem. Carson Sweatshirter is going to have his day cut out for him in that defensive line as well. Are they a beatable team? Yeah, I don't know if they are for the Browns, but that's just naive. They're saying that they're not worried. That's ridiculous. So,
yeah, and look, if you would have won last week, and I get it, like those guys feel like they weren't the problem. Now, Jeudy, he was the one to drop a couple balls. He dropped it on 4th down. Like, I didn't have any issue with the way that Kevin Stefanski set up the offense for that game.
Yeah, he did good.
And everybody wanted to run him out of town because these guys are dropping balls and stuff like that. Look, Kevin Stefanski can't go out and catch for these guys. Like, you can the pre-snap penalties, they didn't have – I don't think they had any pre-snap penalties. People were complaining about how many penalties they had. But I would expect to see a higher number in week 1 because you're still like just the typical stuff. But like the pre-snap penalties, looks like that message got across for at least 1 week. Is it going to last? Like those are things that are on behind the scenes on the coaches. But he can't go out there and catch the football for a guy that's, wants to go into an all-pro season. He can't go out there and kick a ball.
Yeah. I've been really critical of Stefanski, and I think this week was wonderful. I think he coached well. The only thing that you can hope for is that he puts our team in the position to win. And unfortunately, like you said, two interceptions that bounced off the chest. 2 missed kicks. Stefanski did not lose this game today. He put us in a chance to win, and I think he did very, very well. So,
yeah. So, but like Grant, like puffing, it feels the aura coming out of Berea this week feels weird. Like, a team that's going in against a very difficult, very deep team against Baltimore, just being so willing to put bulletin board material out there.
Right.
Now, is Grant doing that because with Derrick Henry, because he's like somehow he holds a grudge with Derrick Henry? Because the last time we were in Baltimore, that's where JOK went out, and it was a hit. It was a collision with Derrick Henry that did that. Do I blame Derrick Henry for JOK not being able to play? No.
Right.
Does Grant Delpit? Maybe, but it's still not smart to do that. I would love it if this attitude from the Browns is because of what the Ravens are doing pregame. If you haven't heard, this is the Ravens' 30th season. It'll be 30.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It'll be 30 years in Baltimore next year because like the first year they played was 1996, but this is the 30th season since Art Modell, middle of the night, packed up, went to Baltimore, and you got the governor of Maryland who is going to be in attendance. Ozzie Newsome's going to be in attendance. I think one of Art Modell's sons or stepsons or whatever is going to be in attendance. But you have the governor saying, we have a signed contract. The Browns are indeed coming to Baltimore. Look, I was 5 or 6 at the time. So, like, yeah, I didn't understand it. But my family and my grandfather made sure I knew, like, how big of a deal and how bad that was. So all I have is 1999 till now. A lot of crap. Because of that move.
Right.
And Ryan, I don't know how much you believe in them or believe what they're saying. They said that they had these plans in the works and it was made public. I hadn't heard that I would think that ESPN would put something up like, oh, like this is what the Ravens are planning to do in 9 months in September.
Right.
Like, and from the time that they said that they were talking about this in March till now, like, yeah, the schedule came out and you can always adjust your plans. You had 6 months to rework things. I'm sorry. This is a big middle finger, double bird to the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland fans, and people like Chris Canty that played for the Ravens that are saying like he loves it and like wants to see them tap dance all over the feelings of Browns fans with this and loves how they're trolling him and everything. Screw you.
Yeah.
Screw all of you.
Yeah, it's tacky, classless, but I would not expect anything less from the Baltimore Ravens organization. I think they're just pissed because we'll never allow Art Modell into the Hall of Fame, and this is their way of just trying to get back at us. I don't believe. They can reschedule. It's just they say, hey, well, it's our first home game of this. Who cares? The implications are like they're trying to rub it in our face, and that's plain and simple. Anyone that says otherwise is just lying. So.
Yeah, and even if they had said it for like before they knew the schedule for the first home game, when you saw it was the Browns, like, right. Okay, maybe a thought process would go through your head, like, all right, this, probably not going to be a good look. Like, we want to save our image because NFL is all about, saving getting as much money as possible and saving their public perception and public image, and each of the teams kind of follow in that light. I'm not saying the Browns are in any way like. I would love to be able to respond to a guy like Chris Canty on Sportsman, like saying something like that this morning, tap dancing in front of his face because the Browns won. I don't have the confidence that they're going to win this game. Like we don't have a team where I can feel good to, make that bold statement out there. Like, hey, I'm going to be tap dancing in front of you instead of them tap dancing on us. No. I'm thinking the Ravens are going to win. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm rooting for me to be wrong and the Browns to surprise me. I just don't have that confidence. It's still it angers me and frustrates me so much that, and people have said that Cleveland is the reason, like the fans are the reason that Art Modell left and we forced them out of here. And they want to blame Tony Grossi, Mary Kay Cabot, who have covered the team since back then and say that they're the ones keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. There's been moments where they've stood up and had to explain why he shouldn't be in there as a voting populace for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But there's been many other years where he hasn't even gotten to that point to get in that room with those conversations.
Yeah, and he shouldn't. Obviously I'm incredibly biased, but he did something very selfish, and his name will forever be tarnished. Yeah, he did some really good things for the NFL. He's the one that implemented, the video replay and things like that. But nonetheless, according to me, scum. I'm done. I don't care. So
all you have to do is when that was like finally announced and then like the first nationally televised NFL game, it may have been on NBC or whatever network Bob Costas was working for. If I say the name Bob Costas, Ryan, like sports journalism, sports broadcasting, play-by-play legend.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He has a famous clip of that game admonishing the NFL and Art Modell and what they did to the city of Cleveland with that. I know that there were issues with Jacobs Field being built and Gundaria being built, like new facilities for those teams that weren't as didn't have as long of a history or as good of a history at that time going into it. Like, I get that politics, just like there's politics now in getting to Brook Park or not, all of that. I get that, but I mean, to go about it the way that he did is just, conniving,
unforgivable. So
unforgivable.
Yeah.
And that unforgivable is going to be passed on generation to generation.
Absolutely. The thing I think is going to be interesting is, our quarterback this week, Joe Flacco. He is a Raven, legend. They talked about this on the fan. Like, obviously he's going to be a part of the celebration in some way. That's going to be just really awkward. I don't know how Joe's going to handle that with a game prep situation, especially. It's going to be emotional. I mean, that he's known for winning a Super Bowl with the Ravens. I mean, so it's going to be just an interesting game for sure. And
I have no problem, like, if he, acknowledges the fans.
No, he deserves to.
He just, like, he brought the second Super Bowl to Baltimore, like one of the two that they've gotten since the move happened.
Right.
I have no ill will towards Ozzie Newsome, who, is a Browns legend, winning the Hall of Fame as a Cleveland Brown. But, like, you have to think about it. When he was offered that general manager job, people like him weren't getting jobs like that.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, African Americans, black people weren't getting jobs like that in the NFL. And Baltimore had the respect for him, had the belief in him that he was going to be able to do what he ended up being able to do. And that's like an absolute mastermind of getting great draft picks in there and continuously rotating, just like Steelers have shown to do for many years. He kind of got that ball rolling there. Would he have done that here if the Browns never left? We don't know. But that was an opportunity. Like, I'm not against someone taking an opportunity. I'm against someone taking something cherished, historic from the town just for their own
personal
greed.
Gain.
Yeah, that wasn't an opportunity. That was personal gain, trying to, show everything and show up everybody. And still, like, I mean, I'm not going to be mean. Like, I'll say rest in peace to Art Modell and his son, David Modell. Did you ever see the 30 for 30 Believe Land, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You remember in there, David Modell said, like, I get all of the, the frustrations at the time and all of that, but I don't understand why Cleveland holds on to it still.
Because he's not a Clevelander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't understand us, and that's why, there was no remorse or regret with what his dad did. His late dad did. Now, unfortunately, both of them have passed on, and you say rest in peace to every human. But in terms of decisions that they made and comments that they made, I'll disagree to the ends of the earth for that.
Absolutely, I think majority of us would.
So that's going to be something to watch. And now, how does Baltimore respond? And I'm sure Derrick Henry's going to try to run through Grant Delpit. To cornerbacks are there's always celebration when a cornerback gets a pass breakup or an interception or something like that. There's gonna be a little extra sauce on that, especially if they take the ball away from Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
because that's what good teams do. They don't talk about it outwardly, but they use the bulletin board material not as like full motivation, but it's a tool. And the great teams find ways to channel that the right way.
Yeah, I just think they're poking the bear, and they're going to learn from it. It's a stupid thing to do, but here we are. So,
fearing how bad that game could actually get. So, the team that's on the other end of the spectrum, of course, is the Ohio State University. Getting a 70-0 win, I know, is against Grambling. The big thing for that game, though, Ryan, I think it still means something, even in a game like that where you're expected to win the way that they did. I think it means something to have your quarterback get in a rhythm when he's so young and getting those reps. You don't like the interception. I'm not making excuses for him, but I can tolerate taking a chance when you've already thrown 4 touchdown passes, trying to see what kind of windows you can fit something in, no matter what talent is on the other side. I can tolerate it, but it better not happen again, and it better not be how you operate with the first touchdown against a good team. But I can't say that it's nothing for the type of reps and the way that Sayan went about his work last week.
Yeah, I mean, on the interception, I just think it was a late read. He saw Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith was going in on slant. Carnell Tate was going on the out to the cone. He saw the slant, but the linebacker popped in. So he was late to the cone. It happens. He's a freshman. It's a second start. Or first year starter. He's a redshirt sophomore, but redshirt freshman. Sorry, second year. I don't know what I'm saying. Nonetheless, I don't blame him too much for that. He broke an Ohio State record. It was 18 for 18, technically 18 for 19, even with the interception. The ball never touched the ground. So an Ohio State record, 18 of 18 for most completions in a game. 306 yards, 4 touchdowns. He played amazing. And like you said, we won 70-0, but this game was incredibly valuable for Sayan to finally have the offense open up for him. It was relatively reserved. They just wanted to win. It was conservative against Texas, and now it was opened up. And then also just like the amount of guys that got reps and meaningful reps and made plays. Like this game, to the untrained eye or not the common college football fan, it's a boring game, but I loved every rep. It was so much fun to watch these guys who have been scouting, all these freshmen, Riley Pettijohn, looking like a demon out there. He's, obviously, when Laurinaitis was talking about we have 4 game-ready linebackers, now we know who the 4th one is. It was definitely him. I'm ecstatic. I saw, there's still things, that they need to fix. But a lot of guys got a lot of reps and a lot of guys learned, which is going to be, pay dividends, especially when you are expecting to go far in the playoffs, which, I expect us to do. So.
And a lot of people have asked me oh, is Bo Jackson now going to be the starting running back? That's not going to happen yet. But if he keeps putting stuff like that on tape against each different competition, it's going to be hard to. And CJ Donaldson or especially James Peoples doesn't come together. Then it's not the offensive line. If their performances continue to struggle, but Bo Jackson comes in each time and continues to make an impact in the run game, then the offensive line is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Someone's just not reading their keys right. Now, again, that's not going to happen because Ohio State understands it was just scrambling. And I'm not here to, boast from the top of a mountain that they are, they're going to win the national championship. They're one of the favorites, but that's just because they're Ohio State, and they're always one of the favorites to win the national championship. Last week didn't make that better, make that worse, anything like that. Like you said, it's valuable reps.
Yeah.
And it's good habits.
Sure.
So, the stat lines are going to drop. But if those habits remain in games against better and better talent, you're going to have more success than you don't because the habits remain the same. And when you need to make that play is going to happen because the habits, the routine, all of that is already in order.
Yeah, and that just goes down to, preparation way before these games. Months ago, right after the national championship, they're ready to tear the banners down and get to work. And I think that, so far it's been a testament to that. They beat the number 1 team in the nation, preseason number 1 team. They have. You mentioned the offensive line. I actually think they're one of the best in the country right now, especially in pass pro. They haven't given up a sack. I don't really. Think it's necessarily the offensive line that's struggling with the running backs. I think, you mentioned James Peoples. Buddy's needs to do something and quick because if he's getting 8 carries for 50 yards and, obviously he's going to lose opportunity if we're blowing him out because there's no need. But he's the veteran on this team. Yeah, CJ Donaldson has had more reps. He played for West Virginia the last few years, but this was supposed to be James Peoples' backfield. But honestly, Bo Jackson is he's young, and I don't want to say this, but he's the most talented running back in that room. So if Peoples wants to keep his job, he needs to perform well. Otherwise, I could see within a few weeks, I could see that happening for sure, that Bo Jackson comes, or it'd be a 1A, 1B with him and Donaldson. So
yeah, I've told people, keep an eye on it. Don't it's not just going to happen
no
right away, because it was still just Grambling. Like, is that why Bo had success? I mean, as much as we focus on high school football here, I knew Bo Jackson was going to make an imprint down there in Columbus right from the start. And It's just the unfortunate part with his knee injury last year in his final year of high school football, people not being able to see that progression with VASJ, kind of brought the conversation back down on him, and he has put in the work to bring that conversation back up. I will say this week against Ohio, it's not going to be anywhere near how easy it was last week. To me, and I'm not a betting man, but to me, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the spread is a little too much. Not enough respect to Ohio, what they've done against Rutgers and
was it 5
West
touchdowns? Was it, or 25?
It was like 32 and a half.
32? Okay, yeah, wow.
Yeah, I felt like that was a little too high, because I can feel something in my head says Ohio State pulling away late, and if you feel like the spread is too low, you're going to be someone that's watching this game more frustrated than you need to be as the game progresses. Talent's going to win out, but Parker Navarro, the quarterback for Ohio, I'm not just saying it to blow smoke. This guy is, he is a true dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
That while I have confidence in this defense, Ohio State, has shown at times they haven't always handled that dual threat quarterback, that running quarterback as well. I'm going to throw a stat at you, and then I want you to kind of weigh in on this game coming up. And it's not like I'm fretting Ohio State winning or losing or anything like that. It's just antennas up. Right. Antennas up is what they should be, and I think that's the message they've been sending. But Parker Navarro, last year, he had over 2,100 yards passing, and in his career, he has 1,400 yards rushing at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
1,000 of that came last year.
That's crazy.
And 18 of his 22 career rushing touchdowns came last year when Ohio won the MAC for the first time since 1968.
Yeah.
So he's absolutely a threat, and they've definitely shown defensively they can keep themselves in ball games and stuff like that. It's a different animal when you go against Ohio State, but like I said, I feel like this is one of those ramp-up games that has more on it than a game against Grambling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better team. Are they the same caliber as Ohio State? I definitely don't think so. Yeah, he's a dual threat quarterback. He runs really, really well. I mean, he's already got 180 yards and a touchdown on the ground this year, and almost 500 yards passing. So in 2 games, it's not bad. He's not the biggest guy. I think they said he was 6 foot, 190 pounds. So he's wiry, and he's got a decent arm. He doesn't have the best receiving core. I think the leading receiver I saw only has 17 catches, 200 yards, and a touchdown. Not bad, but not great. Other than that, there's nobody else. The second best only has 81 yards total in 2 games. And then their tight end has 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. So if we can stop the run game, I think we're going to have a lot of success. It's going to be on this defensive line. Kaden McDonald's going to be huge. Same with Curry. And these defensive ends, I mean, they rotate a ton. And I think the biggest thing is Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles in the middle there, just making sure that, that quarterback does not get more than 3-4 yards at a time, and he's not going to run every down. And I think Talent's going to win out, like you said. I'm not sure about the spread. I mean, that's a lot. 30 something points is a lot. But if I'm betting on the Talent, I think that I don't think it's going to be as close as we think it is. I think usually Ohio State starts slow, and then we finish off really, really big at the end. So I could see us it'd be, a touchdown or 2 game going into the half, and then I think we'll open stuff up in the fourth like they usually do. And
that's kind of what I was alluding to. I feel like as the game goes, that gap is going to stretch. Now, would you like that gap to be big, like you did, similar to last week, so you can get some of those guys back in there that you were able to do in 306 yards for Julian Saint in just one half. 18 night, and they only had to play one half. Carnell Tate didn't have to play the whole time. Jeremiah Smith, like, well rested, all those kinds of things. I'm just saying, like, these are the types of games where you want to. It's not that Ohio is better than Ohio State.
Right.
I think it means something to the Ohio kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Kids from Ohio to play in the Horseshoe when they weren't given an offer from Ohio State when they felt like they should, or some of those other top programs. This is a chance on that bigger stage and a bigger platform to play above what they will typically show you. I think there's something real to that. Again, I'm not saying Ohio State's going to lose or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, laser focus, starts to, especially going into a bye week. You get a bye week after your first 3 games. Like, when this team probably doesn't need it, but you have a bye week before Washington, go into that bye week, the last time you're going to be on the field in a competitive situation, leave no doubt is basically what I'm saying.
You just don't want them to overlook it. You don't want them to think, we had a bye before the bye. You want them to go out there and be Ohio State and not fall on their butt like they did with Purdue with Urban and some of these random games that we lose. You just don't want it to sneak up on it. I get it for sure. So
yeah, and it's not even like I think that they could take them lightly and still win the game. Like, that's how talented they are. I guess my big thing and nowhere near that type of level, but a former coach, I believe in good habits. Yeah. I believe in good habits leading to success. And as talented as you are, if you don't have those good habits, you don't have the good work ethic, nothing is going to, you're not going to go where you want to go. And when you take a team lightly, you get yourself into bad habits. And if you win, sometimes you tend to overlook those bad habits and they start to jump out and scare you in other games where you can't get away with those things. So, but gonna be fun and another great band coming into Ohio State as well.
Well, I think the Bobcats are coming off a really big win for them too. They beat West Virginia, which is not the biggest program, but a pretty good program. They got a really good running back. And then now, like you said, all these guys are Ohio kids. Most of them probably dreamt of playing at Ohio State, and they got overlooked. They didn't get picked. They didn't get the offer. So now they're going out there and they want to try to prove them wrong. So I mean, like you said, you just want to just have everything down, no mistakes, and just go play your game. Otherwise, don't overlook this and don't look to the bye. So
just be focused on a team letting it all hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
And not allowing that to become the main story. We shut down their best effort.
Yeah.
Now
one more story with that real quick. Remember 15 years ago, last time we played Ohio, there was a scuffle between the mascots, Rufus the Bobcat and Brutus the Buckeye, where Rufus looked like he might have, attacked them and looked like it was kind of legit. Do you expect anything this week to happen with those two? Do you think there'll be some sort of playful interaction? Do you think they're going to throw Anthony Schlegel in the Brutus costume and go lay that dude out? Do you have anything with that?
Well, if anybody's watching with their kids right now, cover their ears. 3, 2, 1. The people inside those costumes are different now, but I can see something happening playfully this time because those videos have surfaced and how that's one of the fun ways to use social media. Okay, these videos are out there. Let's capitalize on this, and then let's quote tweet with the video of them going at it again, but actually playful.
Sure.
I don't know how much of that was staged last time.
I don't think it was.
This
I think
time,
that guy wanted to be Brutus and had some beef. So
if you see an altercation, and those just listening to audio, I put altercation in quotation marks. It's definitely to play up what has been kind of the fun background story that yes, we've all seen on social media. Before we close things out, Guardians, big game tonight against the Royals, trying to take 3 or 4 from them. They are 3.5 games back of the final wild card spot. But you can't ever say that they're out of it. Yeah. Until someone says that final playoff spot has been clinched, you cannot say the Guardians are out of it. And as much as we want to question Stephen Vogt this year and the decisions made, the lineup changes, when he brings in certain bullpen guys, all of those little major manager things,
Right.
you have to give credit to Stephen Vogt that he has kept that same culture that Terry Francona has had, that they're going to fight, scratch, and claw. I was actually at the game last night. I was covering the game
nice.
for the station, and I only say that because, I get to go into the locker room and hear these guys talk, and I'm listening to Brian Rocchio, a guy that's been criticized this year, and still trying to see if he can live up to that potential that everybody says he has. And when he is talking about we're going to fight, scratch, claw, everything we need to give it our best effort to make it into the playoffs, and we take every game like it is a playoff game. We approach every game like it's a playoff game anyways, and that's just how we operate. That's our mentality. That's our culture. That's a testament to the manager and the team there. We can question all of the money and all the moves they make, Ryan, but that you're always going to get actual effort out of them. You can't say that about certain teams here in this town.
Yeah. I think it's obviously, it's a necessity right now. You have to play like you're in the playoffs right now. You can't play in hopes to get in because, like you said, we're 3.5 games back. The Rangers are 2 games ahead of us, and it's not looking too great. So you got to play every single game. We play Kansas City tonight. We have the White Sox coming up. Hopefully we can, flip those tables, but we're going to have some help. We're going to have a couple teams lose while we continue to win. I've been saying all along that, this team this year, I think, is just, they're hoping for the best. They want to go out there and try to have fun. They want to make it at least fun for everyone. And if they do that, then they'll think it's a success. I don't know. I'd rather win the wild card. I'd say if we win the wild card, that'd be a success for sure, especially the resilience that they've had just trying to push through this hard part, this last, 3.5 games. But I don't know. It's just
I know
relatively disappointing season, to be honest. I'm not having too much fun. Here and there, it's very stressful, I would say.
I feel like when the season ends, that success failure conversation will definitely be easier to have. I feel like those thoughts will come to us a little bit easier. And yeah, we need to have higher standards for our teams. I definitely have a high standard. They haven't won a World Series since 1948, and they seem to put themselves in a position to do it, but they can't get over the mountaintop, and that's not acceptable. And I'm not taking a moral victory here, but from other things that we see in this town, and especially from the Cleveland Browns, I'd rather be frustrated because my team's always in it, but you're not taking that next step that you should be, rather than being frustrated because you are the laughingstock of the main league, the main focal point of sports in all of the United States of America. That, I don't want that.
Yeah, well,
I want to complain about my team. Yeah, I want to complain about my team not taking those next steps, not getting to the mountaintop.
Right.
It's not fun to have those conversations still. But in retrospect, it's definitely a lot better than all the way down and being, again, the laughing stock and people telling you they hope that their former team, trolls the hell out of you this weekend and tap dances all over and stuff like that. We can get mad about it, but it's the bed we've been forced to lay in as football fans here in town. Last thing before we go, CVC TV, make sure to check out those guys, Kyle Cornell, AA, Anthony Alford, Peter Telep, his entire crew. They will be out at Hawken for Geneva at Hawken. Boy, oh boy, Hawken they had a game against Gilmore last week, and I thought it was going to be kind of back and forth. Hawken just absolutely dominated. I'm pretty sure they're undefeated this year. That's going to be a hell of a game to watch. Avon, North Ridgeville, Glenville at St. Ed's.
Yeah, that's mine for the week is Glenville, St. Ed's. I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah, and we'll see kind of what response. Glenville had 15 penalties for 125 yards last week against Avon.
Yeah, that's sad. You can't win like that. And especially against a really, really good team like Avon who won the state championship last year. That's just, you can't expect to win. So,
But
Yeah, now they have another huge test. I mean, this week. I mean, still. I mean, the top D1 school in the state with St. Ed's, and it's just going to be, hopefully they can limit those turnovers, and we can see some of those studs that are either committed or being recruited to the Buckeyes. See them perform. It's going to be a really good game.
yeah, because I haven't heard a lot about from Sincere Johnson this year, and maybe just be, I'm watching these games on Friday night before we do our show and get into our scoreboard show. Like, we have no sound on, so I don't always know how many tackles he's getting, but yeah, I mean Glenville can definitely hang with an Avon, with a Glenville, from a Division IV team to those Division II and Division I teams. There is a pretty big game that I don't know if a lot of people have their eyes on, but I definitely do. Benedictine at NDCL. Both teams come in 3-0. NDCL, Ryan, won against Kenston last week, which is another big time program. Triple overtime, 48-45.
Wow. Benedictine, isn't that I'm not crazy. Who's their quarterback? Is St. Clair their quarterback? Wasn't Tavion St. Clair from there, and then his younger brother became the quarterback?
No, I don't know if Tavion St. Clair's from Ohio. But I know he didn't go to Benedictine.
No, he's from Ohio.
He is?
Yeah.
Look at this guy with the computer in front of him now.
Yeah,
he's really bringing the.
He went to Belafontaine High School. My bad. Ohio. Yeah. Not Benedictine.
Okay. Yeah. Where's that? Down towards Cincinnati?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Benedictine, that's the home of Jerome Baker, Ohio State linebacker, now Browns linebacker. They've had some really good talent come out of there, but they've struggled the last couple of years. It's good to see them off to a really good start. And the one program to watch in Division III, always Walsh Jesuit.
They're Division II.
Yeah. Oh, they are?
Yeah. They're second Division II.
Okay.
But yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, they went from a team in 2018 being 0-10. Since then, I can't remember their coach's name right now off the top of my head, but since 2018, they've gone 58-20 and been in 3 regional finals. Telling you people, if you don't know, you should know. Northeast Ohio has the high school football talent right here.
Division II in general: Walsh Jesuit, Avon, Hoban, Cincinnati Anderson. The Walsh Jesuit, Avon, Hoban, all 3 right up here. That's a powerhouse. Top 4 there. That's crazy. So
Glenville's got a game against Hoban later this year. I think in week 8.
What a schedule, man! They do not fear anyone. They're going to go out there and play the best of the best in Ohio. That's really cool.
Yeah, and man, what team? I can't remember the team off the top of my head, but Massillon, Washington, Paul Brown Stadium, the historic
Titletown.
Yeah, Titletown. They starting last week, they're playing 5 of 6 games out of state.
Yeah,
because they want to prep themselves for the playoffs. They don't want to just beat up on everybody that's around here that they could. They know what they could do here in this area. Sometimes, I'd like Ohio teams to play against top Ohio talent a little bit more than trying to tend or trend towards a little more out of state.
Yeah.
I'd like that to kind of balance out a little bit better, but I mean, I love Ohio going to beat up on every other state. That's what I love.
It just reminds me of college a little bit. These guys are going all over the country playing the best of the best, and they're being featured on ESPN. High school football is a lot of fun now, guys. If you're not into it, if you're just in your local, that's cool. But there's a lot of fun games, a lot of fun football to watch. So,
and what an experience it is to go to a high school football game.
Right.
I can't remember who said it, but I know I've heard somebody say recently, Ryan, and I'm sure you'll get a kick out of this one. It's one of the last few real human interaction, community interaction elements that we have in society, going and talking to someone in person. Kind of struck me yeah, you're kind of right. It's kind of sad, but you're kind of right.
I mean, yeah, but it's cool. I mean, nothing. I mean, sure, some things do, but football brings communities together like no other. I would say, and this school spirit can be just as effective in high school as it is college and NFL, especially in the right community. It's a lot of fun just to follow. So
yeah, so keep an eye on the high school football talent here in Northeast Ohio. If you get frustrated with your professional team, sometimes it can just help you mellow out a little bit to see just good, pure amateur football here in the high school level. But that is going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land. Got to thank our partners with Greeny Sports Cards. GreenSportsCards.com. They are the biggest sports card collector show developer here in Northeast Ohio. They have 5 locations. They're going to keep on growing and growing and growing. Steve and Jeremy over there, great people. And make sure to check them out. Broadview Heights Woodside Event Center. Broadview Heights, September 20th, coming up in about a week and a half. Going to be a great show out there, and they always have shows at the Kirtland Senior Center. All the information you need about them, greenysportscards.com. For Peter Tulip, who we can't even hear, let alone see this week, and my partner, Ryan Moster, I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you, 3000. We need to stand united, just like the shirt says. We truly need to stand united, and we love everybody, 3000. Ryan?
Yeah, just hug your family, man. Hug your family today. Crazy stuff's happening. Just cherish who you got. So
yes, and just don't talk about it, be about it, and let's all come together. For our entire team here, this has been Voice of the Land on with LPV Productions here and Greeny Sports Cards. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody.